Hey guys, we're at the gun range today. It is, I believe, the very last weekend of, well, today's Monday, but it's the very last week of February. So we're just getting out again, doing our reps. Looks like spring's on its way. It's getting a little warmer. It's about 40 degrees today, so that's nice. Just did my first 3 magazines, so you're gonna see this bit before that, and then I'll play the footage of the first shooting. There was somebody shooting next to me, so I didn't want to really put them on camera too much or talk during the shooting sessions. So today's focus, we're just focusing on our grip again and just all our shooting fundamentals. I think I have a pretty good comprehension of what I need to do in order to be shooting at my most optimal level. It's just a matter of remembering to put all the pieces of the puzzle together at one time and to just be steady throughout the entire shooting process. So yeah, let's get into it. All right, you good? So after watching, you know, the first set of me shooting, I bet you can tell my hands were a little shaky. It's early in the morning. I kind of skipped breakfast, whatever. So anyways, this is our target. As you can see, we're pretty decent grouping here. We're keeping it to within this, what would you call this? I think 5 or 6 inch grouping here. About the size of my hand, really. But yeah, it's not terribly great, but if you can see here, my head grouping, a little more happy with that. Up and to the left a little bit. I'm not quite sure if it was just the way I was setting my sights or if it was how I was pulling the trigger. Again, I was starting to get pretty shaky, so you know, it wasn't really my best moment there, but I gave it a good go, and I'm still pretty happy with the results for our first starting rounds of the day. Of course, now we're halfway through our shooting, so looks like this is about the end of my ammunition for target practice, so I will have to go get some more ammunition online, and then we'll get back out here. Hopefully within the end of this week, I'll have some ammo ordered and arrived, so I can get back out shooting right away without missing a day or so. So after those first 3 mags, really want to focus on making sure that I'm not like too shaky and trembly. I felt extremely shaky. My hands were going crazy. I drank a whole glass of water, a bottle of water this morning. I've had 1 breakfast snack bar, but you know, that doesn't really cut it, does it? So that could be why I'm still a little shaky, maybe a little nervous, but we're gonna give it another go. I'm gonna see if I can be a little smoother with it. Maybe I can't hold my arms out as long as I want to. But yeah. Still got our range cam on the target. We got a fresh target up. Let's go. We got 45 rounds here. I think there's maybe another 15 rounds in here, so I may get an extra magazine out of this. But anyways, we're gonna go ahead and shoot our target. It's set up at 10 yards. We're gonna try and be nice and smooth with it, good grip. And then what I noticed last week when I was out here watching back the video as I edited it was that my grip was fine, but I think it was my trigger pull. I was once again wrapping my finger all the way around the trigger instead of keeping it more on the tip of it, on the pad, I should say, not the tip. You don't want to go all the way out, but keeping it centered on the pad. And when I was watching myself trying to diagnose why the gun was going up, I was pulling my finger around the trigger so hard that I felt like I could see it in my own video that the trigger was causing the gun to rise. So we got to be a little more finessing on that trigger. And just remember that that trigger pull, I think, is the most important thing. And I think that's where I've been missing out in the past, is just not having the discipline on how I pull the trigger. It doesn't feel physically natural for my finger to want to rest just the pad on it. So that's going to be a bit of a learning curve, a little bit of a, you know, killing some old habits. But I think we can get through that. So let's go ahead and get started here. We're going to do hammer back. All right. Ear protection. Okay, good grip. Hands in a good spot. Finger pad on the trigger. Lightly pull. Okay, where did we end up? I felt like I was hard to the left, but I do not even see that round. Oh, I see it. Okay, so we're actually almost vertically in line. Or, yeah, horizontally in line, but we are up in the second black zone. So let's try that again. Not let it raise. Okay, so this time we are horizontally in line. We are a little to the left. Again, just out of the red to the left. Okay, somehow that was further left, and I felt like I pulled right, so. Okay, that was down to the left. I feel like I'm dragging it. Up to the left, about 11 o'clock. Okay, still out pulling left. Whew. About the 7 o'clock. Ooh, out to the right. Okay, down to the right. So I'm having kind of a crappy time today, I gotta admit. Feel a little shaky. I don't feel like I'm all there for it, but I want to be transparent. This is about documenting my process. So if I'm having an off day, if I feel like I'm not doing well, it's okay. I'm just going to keep shooting. This will be something we can look back at. Honestly, looking back at last week's targets, I felt pretty good about the way I ended last week with my grouping in the head and just overall my consistency. So if this week's not that great, it's okay. It's a learning experience. You know, shooting skill set is sort of on a spectrum of like, you know, good to bad, right? Sometimes you could be very accurate, other times you can be pretty bad. So today may be more towards the bad side, but that's all right. We're going to keep working on it. And again, we're just trying to build some consistent fundamentals that we will remember as we come back over and over again. Okay, so that was again low to the left. Whew. More to the left. Okay, that one was very low in the center. So I am struggling here to keep it all. I'm not even hitting the red zone, right? So that's a disappointment. My first mag was pretty good, but this mag I'm struggling. So let's keep going. Oh, on the edge of the red. Okay, I just had about 3 or 4 in the red. I'm starting to build some consistency. Okay, so that was pretty good at the end. You notice I got faster, but I had way more of my grouping in the red. So I felt like I was thinking about it less as I was shooting faster, but somehow I managed a bit more in the red. So I think there's some natural instinct to it that I'm starting to acquire that's bringing some accuracy. I think maybe I'm overthinking it a little bit at times, and that might be what is resulting with me, you know, basically just being wildly off target. So we got some work to do in terms of like, I guess where my mindset is at, but ultimately that was a lot better for my final mag in the body. Let's go ahead and head for the target on the top here, the headshots. You know what I'm noticing is my finger is cramping up the longer I try to shoot correctly on the trigger. The more I try to pull the trigger correctly, the harder it gets on my finger, so. Ooh, we got ourselves a jam. First time I've had one of those with my Beretta. Let's pop that out. Well, that was our, whoop. That was, in fact, our final round. We don't have a stove or anything stuck in there. Very, very interesting. We'll have to look at that in more detail here, but here's our casing. If you can see that, it's a little chewed up. That's an interesting way to finish. Yeah, I don't think it's damaged the gun in any way whatsoever. It looks pretty good to me. All right, so today was a much quicker, very brief visit to the gun range. We still have one mag worth of ammo left, but I don't think I'm going to shoot it today. We'll just stick to our 6. So starting with the body shots, as you can see here, we put 2 full mags, so 30 rounds. We were down low, we were low to the left a lot. I felt like I was favoring on the left. As I sped it up, I suddenly was getting way more hits here in the middle. I think I probably put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, maybe 6 here in the center. I know some of my early shots were here, a lot more here, and then maybe some up here, and obviously a lot over there. But I think this was more towards the end. This was more towards the beginning, especially that first mag, and then this was the second mag. Headshots. All right, so one of these may even be from the last mag, but we got 1, 2, 3 out, 4 out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, plus the 3 or 4 out. So we're still looking for probably 2 or 3 rounds that maybe just totally missed one out. But yeah, so not my best visit, but it was all right. We're gonna take this down, take a picture of it, and get out of here for the day. All right, guys, so we've left the gun range. It started getting a little busy, so I figured it'd be better to just talk while I drive home, right? We had a good time. I went through my 6 mags. I felt like my hands were shaky, and really that was a pretty heavily contributing factor to my performance today. I think I made a mistake of getting up and going out shooting right away. I'll be honest, I was a little excited to go out shooting. My wife wanted to go for a walk as soon as we woke up, so we did that, skipped breakfast, and came right out and started shooting. So I don't think that really that's the smartest thing. I probably should have at least put some food in my belly. But ultimately, if you look at my targets, my groupings were not the worst. It was all at 10 yards. At least I was still like on the body, right? So most of them were at least within the targeted zones, with the exception of the headshots being, you know, a little outside the head itself. So that's a little more understandable since it's such a smaller target. But I'd say ultimately, if you were to look at today's shooting and classify it as an off day for me, if you were to go back and look at one of my other days of shooting from a couple months ago, that would be considered an off day at that time. I would say overall you would see that I'm consistently doing better. So I think there's something to be said about that, at least, that, you know, I am improving on a big picture scenario. We are getting better at it. So I do feel good, even though I don't feel like today was the best. I'm not going to let that discourage me. So the next step is I got to actually buy some more bullets since we're out of ammunition. So we'll go to Lucky Gunner's website and pick up some more ammunition. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Sorry I was rambling so much this time around. You know, you never know what you're going to get when you go to the range. I'm not going with a planned type of video. This is definitely more of a documentary style where I just want to record my shooting progress for my own reference later on. I think I'm going to go back through all of my videos that I've currently posted and probably change the titles to also include the dates, the month, day, and year, so that it more works out for me in terms of actually documenting the exact time. So if I need to go back through and say, hey, how was I shooting at this time last year, I can be a little easier on myself when it comes to like referencing, okay, I can go back to April, or I can go back to February or November and see like exactly what I was doing at that time in terms of my shooting capabilities. So I'm not doing like your typical gun tuber. Like, I'm not going to do like 1911 versus M9 videos. I'm not really interested in doing that stuff. I think there's plenty of other people in the market doing that. So for me, this is just about getting better in my skill set. You know, maybe I can turn this into something that's a little more intentionally educational for others. Maybe I start interviewing some professional shooters or professional instructors, and I can kind of provide some more content that is probably a little more useful to other people that are in my scenario where they're just trying to figure it out themselves. But for now, it's just going to be pretty raw, just me documenting everything I do. So again, thank you guys for checking it out. I will check back with you in the future. See ya.